Hey guys, welcome back to another Vanguard video. Today we're going over the Frieren collab cards we got from today's Thursday live stream. So we actually know there are probably going to be more reveals because we did see Stark and Fern grade 3s, which we did not get in this stream. But anyways, here we're talking about the Himmel and Frieren Radline. So first off, we have Hero who strikes for Peace Himmel with the auto when this unit is wrote upon. If you want second, draw one. Then for the grade 1, we have Reason to Go on a Journey Himmel. So auto when placed by writing from the grade 0, you cross reveal a grade 3 Frieren beyond Journey's End card with Frieren and its card name from your ride deck and put a silly but fun journey token into your order zone. The nation is actually Keter Sanctuary, but you can see in the bottom right the anime logo is there for the collab designation. So the next card is the token set order spawned by the grade 1 silly but fun journey. So continuous order zone, you cannot put set order cards other than this card and Grimoire cards into your order zone. So auto in order zone once per turn when this card is put into your order zone or when your Vanguard with Frieren and its card name is placed, search your deck or drop for up to one Grimoire card, put it into your order zone, and if you search your deck, you shuffle it. Then auto order zone once per turn when your Frieren Beyond Journey's End normal unit is placed on rearguard circle, and this is super easy because you'll do this during main phase and most of your rears are again Frieren Beyond Journey's End unless you're playing Sargon and other Keter generics. If it's not the battle phase, you search your deck or drop for up to one Grimoire card, put into your order zone, and if you search your deck, shuffle your deck. So essentially every turn from turn 1 you are getting 2 if you do call during the main phase. Grimoires directly into your order zone, and Grimoires are set orders, you can only play one of each. You can think of the Grimoires as orders kind of similar to like Welstra's orders that they operate in order to get autos. So when they're put into order zone, they're basically going to activate their autos, and then you can activate them again turn 3 off Frieren's act. The Grimoire cards, you can only play one of each in the deck. They have this continuous text, and they all have really interesting effects that we'll get to in a second. It's also really important that this is a token set order and not an additional crest, so your opponent doesn't get additional crest effects such as like the free Festival Elementaria or additional shield from the Persona Shield ticket. Also really important that the Grimoires are basically set orders that you kind of activate effects on, sort of like how Welstra operates their set orders, and Frieren does this turn 3, and of course this is just free deck landing for your Grimoires that you are playing one of, and there are 8 of them. So you are likely to play one of each because you do want to get the full effects of Frieren. The Frieren effect is basically for 7 of them, but you might still want to play the 8th just in case, so you have that consistency of basically getting them all out as fast as possible to get the full effects for Frieren by turn 3. Then we have the grade 2 beautiful Homeland Flower, Himmel, and Frieren. So auto when wrote upon by the Journey to Aureole, Frieren, you look at the top 7 cards of your deck, choose up to one Frieren Beyond Journey and normal unit, which is most of your deck, without Sentinel from among them, reveal it, put it in your hand, and shuffle your deck. So free, check top 7, add something to your hand. Now we have the grade 3 Journey to Aureole, Frieren. So act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, you cost counter plus 1 and perform all the following based on the number of Grimoires in your order zone. So you're aiming to hit that 7 by turn 3. If you have 3 or more, you draw 1. If you have 5 or more, it gets continuous red text, Vanguard Circle. All your front row units get plus 5k, so you're buffing your rears and Van, of course. Then 7 or more, it gets dry plus 1 until end of turn. And again, none of this is restricted to your opponent's grade, so pretty strong. There is a grade 3 normal order that you can play that gives the additional red text of plus 5k to front row, wipes out a column, and crit plus 1. So going first, you'll still have plus 5k to your front row, dry plus 1, which is still really strong just to outgrind your opponent, and you are doing 4 attacks because Stark restands, but for now, the deck is only doing 4, not 5 attacks unless we get another rear revealed that does enable the 5th attack. Then act on Vanguard Circle once per turn, cost Energy Blast any number, and choose a Grimoire in your order zone for each Energy Blast 1 for this cost. If all the cards have different card names, you activate all of their original auto abilities. So essentially it's like you're playing them again, but they're remaining in the set order zone. So again, like operating a Welstra. So you get to reuse a lot of effects, and some of them are very unique, including like standing something and unlocking a circle, basically being able to draw 1, getting free souls. So there's a lot of really cool utility, and again, you're all playing these one of Grimoires, and they're being set up very easily through other effects. And of course, you can also mulligan for them to make sure that you have these 7 or more by turn 3. You can also play, because the nation is Keter Sanctuary, other generics. You could be playing Wisdom and Teithfallt, you could be playing Warrior's Rest, you could be playing any other cards that are basically enabling this deck to really get cards out fast. I think Obligatory Dragon could also be really good in this deck as well, as it was amazing in Love and Berry to get the token clock out. Sorry, not the token, the set order clock out. But here it could also be used basically to play any of your set orders out of deck, or play out very specific orders that you want to deck them out even further on top of the token set order. So really strong just from the get-go. I do think though that only being a 4 attack deck will hold this back a bit, but I think even for beginners or people who just want to play a really fun deck, the fact that this has like a lot of really fun utility, and it is Keter Sanctuary, so trust me, there's lots of generics you can throw in here, such as Nebula Knight, Veltrosa, the usual, the list goes on and on for generics you could throw into Keter Sanctuary. Alright, so next is Judradjim. I kind of already talked about this card already, but you play it with cost energy blast 2 if you have a Frieren beyond Journey's End Vanguard with Frieren and its card name and your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 or greater. You choose a column, retire all of your opponent's rear guards in that column, then choose your Vanguard until end of turn. It gains the red text of all your front row units, get plus 5k power, and continues +1. So basically plus 10k to your front row once you combine this with the Frieren grade 3 skill. And of course on Persona Ride, that's going to be another 10, so the power will stack pretty fast. Choosing a column retire is really nice because you can get over resist. You could snipe Veil Lord. It's pretty easy to get it back, but anything basically that has resist, you can just snipe a whole column, which is really nice. Having removal, of course, is always good, so pretty solid card all around. And you do have effects that can, basically grab this back from drop in case you don't find it. Alright, so now to go over the Grimoires, again, they all have the continuous of this name card. You can only play one of it in the deck. Here we have Magic to create a Field of Flowers. You play this with cost energy blast 2 if you have Frieren beyond Journey's End Vanguard with Frieren and its card name. Once card is put to your order zone, you may call a plant token. So yes, now we have plant tokens in Keter Sanctuary, and there's also a plant token art with Frieren on it at Himmel's Grave. So pretty cool that we're getting more plant token prints basically, and specifically, a specific anime alt art on it. So I do hope we get these cards in English, specifically the plant tokens too, in a future set for English. We are getting this in DZ set 11, so if it does come to English, it's probably 1 or 2 sets later, so DZ set 12 or whatever is after that. But yeah, really cool effect, and the rest of the Grimoires are also very strong and simple as well. So we have Magic that turns Sweet Grapes into Sour ones. So auto, when this card is put into your order zone, you choose a card from your hand and you may discard it. If you discard it, you choose either a grade 2 or less normal unit without Sentinel from your drop, or an order without Regulus Beast from your drop and put into your hand. So this will probably be the, crit +1 +5k to front row order. But again, being able to salvage any of your pieces is super strong. And again, you'll proc this when it goes into the order zone by the token set order, or when you activate it off Frieren's Act. So very strong. The next Grimoire is Magic that controls stones like puppets. So auto, when this card is put into your order zone, you choose a card from your damage zone, heal it. If you heal the card, you put the top card of your deck into your damage face down. If you chose a face-up card with this effect, you put it face up instead of face down. So it's basically the same effect, so you can't countercharge essentially with the effect. And it doesn't activate trigger effects, very similar to like Giant Fluff. But this is really important because you do have a Combine Rusher in the deck, which is Stark, and it also enables the extra attack. So being able to get that into drop to then play your normal order and get him out from drop is really nice with the Combine Rusher effect, because put isn't the same as play for his resurrection. You also have heal out any of your Grimoires in case you need to salvage that off the Magic that turns Sweet Grapes, the one that we just talked about. So really it's just good utility in case you damage any of your one-ups or basically a normal you want to grab back, because you can sequence this auto first, then sequence the other one, Magic that turns Sweet Grapes into Sour ones, and then salvage anything you need essentially from drop. Then Magic for finding lost accessories is also pretty straightforward but very strong. So auto, when this card is put into your order zone, you may choose a trigger unit that is neither heal nor over from your drop. So basically not the heal or over trigger, anything that could heal you essentially. If you chose a card, return it to your deck and shuffle it. So you can put your crits, fronts, or draws. And because you're activating this basically more than twice over the game, once when it goes into the set order zone, and then once when you activate it again off Frieren's Act, you're putting back triggers and deck compressing every turn, and that's not counting, of course, the selective deck thinning that you're doing through your rears or through the token set order, the journey token set order that is going to be getting your Grimoires into order zone every turn. So really, really strong effects, and we haven't even looked at the other ones that are basically plussing you resources. So for next up, we have Magic that makes Shaved Ice. So auto, when this card is put into your order zone, draw one. This is probably what you're going to be using immediately, just free draw one. And of course, you have to draw one when you get to turn 3 from Frieren's Act. And then when you activate this auto again, you'll get to draw one again. So pretty healthy draw 2 essentially. Then you have Magic that removes Rust from Bronze Statues. Auto, when this card is put into your order zone, you choose a card on your circle, you turn it face up and stand it. So again, this gets around unlock or delete as Kairos notes, which is pretty cool. This basically screws over Artisaria, which makes that matchup pretty free, which is kind of hilarious. If there is anything in the future, like a CBD encounter or something that does delete, in standard, this will counter it, which is just absolutely hilarious. Unfortunately, this is only going to be activated the auto off Frieren's Act, so it doesn't actually enable an extra attack because you're doing this during the main phase. But still, regardless, it's really cool to just kind of see a random out to, a premium mechanic or something you would see. Then you have Mikhite, which is auto, when this card is put into your order zone, you look at the top of your deck and put it on the top or bottom. So you get to basically stack deck for free. So if you did play this and then activate it again on Frieren, you're getting 2 basically stacks, or you get to go through 2 cards on the top of your deck. And that's really strong because you're doing 3 drives, especially after your deck is compressed through the other effects. Then you have Magic that makes things float. So auto, when this card is put to your order zone, you choose a card for your drop and you may put it into your soul. And this is important because there are a lot of cards that do use soul in this deck, especially Stark. So really getting a lot of extra soul is nice, and free soul is always appreciated. So yeah, all of these Grimoires are really strong. You essentially have like half D Legion effect, you have free draw, you have free soul, you have random out to lock mechanics or delete if that was ever a thing. You also have free deck stack, you also have free salvage and healing your one of some damage if you need it. So this deck looks really gimmicky and fun. And I think whether you're a beginner or just like someone looking to pick up a new deck, I think this will be a great deck regardless. So I'm really hoping we do get this English, and I love how gimmicky and fun these effects are, because they really are just focusing on how unique and random Frieren spells are and how they just randomly out things in standard, which I think is hilarious. So yeah, really amazing Grimoire effects. Alright, now that we've covered the 8 Grimoires, we can start talking about the rear. So this is the grade 2 start, Confronting the Lord of the Mountains. So continuous, if your Vanguard is Frieren Beyond Journey's End, this card gets all the following. So continuous, Rearguard Circle, Guardian Circle. If your Vanguard is grade 3 Girder, it gets plus 5k power and plus 5k shield, so 15k beater, 10k shield. Also active during your opponent's turn. Auto and drop, when you play a normal order, if you do not have a rearguard with the same name as this card, call this card to Rearguard Circle, so it won't proc off put effects. And of course, when you play a set order, it won't proc because it needs a normal order. That's not hard at all, because you have the grade 3 normal order that gives crit and plus 5k red text to Van. You can play Wisdom, you can play Warrior's Rest. There's lots of easy ways to get a lot of normal order plays in Keter Sanctuary. So very simple effect, and it doesn't cost any counterblast, soul, or energy. It's just a free resurrect from drop, so free combine effect. And he's also the restander, so he basically has the wave 1 effect, so auto Rearguard Circle at the end of the battle that this unit attacked. If it's the first battle of the battle phase and your Vanguard is grade 3 greater, you call Soul Blast to stand this unit. This is also 4 attacks going first, so pretty strong, pretty straightforward card, but does a lot for the deck. So yeah, 10k shield, 15k beater, and of course that's not also counting Frieren's red text plus 5 to front row. If you went second, the extra 5 from the normal order as well, almost a set order as well. But yeah, really good card, like just 3 really strong effects all in one. Next up is Fern. She's your easy early game card. So you have Subjugating, the Einsam. So continuous, if your Vanguard is a Frieren Beyond Journey's End, this card gets all the following. So auto, when this card is placed on Rearguard Circle, you cost either Counterblast 1 or Energy Blast 3 to draw 1. Then auto Rearguard Circle when it attacks. If your opponent's Vanguard is grade 3 greater, it gets plus 5k until end of battle. If you played a normal order this turn, it gets plus 10k instead of plus 5. So that plus 10k will stack pretty fast with all of your other plus 5 effects. And of course, early game potential is easy. On play, CB Energy Blast 3, draw 1. You'll probably want to burn CB more often than energy, because you want to save your energy for Frieren's Act to activate as many Grimoires as possible. But still, it's a really good early game card regardless, just to really just have like a rear on board and to just early draw cards. So next up is Naturally Gifted Priest, Sein. So continuous, if your Vanguard is Frieren Beyond Journey's End, it gets all the following. On place, you may soul charge 1, so really nice, you don't have a mandatory effect. And then has the act on Rearguard Circle, cost, put this unit into your soul and energy charge 3. So this is how you're getting the extra energy to ensure that you're activating multiple Grimoires, because whether you're going first or second, you'll have a very limited amount of energy to work with. Obviously, if you went first, you'll have 6 energy naturally, and if you went second, you'll have 9. So this is a lot of extra utility for the deck in terms of soul as well, because again, you'll want that soul for Stark for that 4 attacks every turn, and of course, having extra energy to proc even more Grimoire effects is really nice. So the last card to cover is Analyzing the Barrier Frieren. So continuous, if your Vanguard is a Frieren Beyond Journey's End, it gets all the following. On place on Rearguard Circle, you look at the top 5 cards of your deck, choose up to 1 Frieren Beyond Journey's End normal order from among them, reveal it, put it into your hand, and shuffle your deck. So right now that is the grade 3 order basically that gives the crit plus 1 and red text. If you revealed, you perform, you may counterblast 1. If you do not counterblast 1, you choose a card from your hand and put it to your soul. So essentially you add 1, then shove a hand card into soul, or you pay that counterblast 1 basically. Then auto Rearguard Circle, when your other Rearguard in the same column as this unit attacks without being boosted, it gets plus 5k until end of turn. So this is essentially what the unit you want to have behind Stark. So he just gets the extra plus 5 on the first wave attack before he restands, because he has to restand on that first attack. Otherwise the deck would do 5 attacks, but the copium is we'll still get a rear that does enable the 5 attacks. But yeah, that pretty much does it for the deck. There is a Teithfallt reprint that is Frieren, and it does actually have the Frieren Beyond Journey's End collab designation, so you can grab it off the rad line, which is really nice. So of course you can still play Keter Pile, play any normal order, slam down Teithfallt, make a board. Of course you're going to play Surgeon. When we get the Nebula Knight order, wherever that would be, you could play that as well. There's a 0 Starry Night if we ever get that in English as well. I'm just naming cards that don't exist. But yeah, really cool effects. I think the deck is quite unique, pretty weak for only doing 4 attacks. I really wish it did 5, so that's like my copium there. But other than that, the deck has a lot of really easy early game. It's very cohesive. So any new beginner who doesn't want to pick up like Keter generics can throw this in. And I think you could probably play the deck without Surgeon, but will you want Surgeon? Probably, because you're playing like set orders or a normal order every turn, likely. But again, you don't have to, because your journey crest is already, sorry, not journey crest. Your journey set order is already basically going to be setting you up all the Grimoires anyways. But again, it's not really the play for turn, so it won't fulfill the condition. But still, you know, you have so many good generic header cards you can be playing in this deck. And there's also a reprint for the effect PG as well, which is very, very nice. So yeah, I'm looking forward to what else Frieren has. There should be more cards. Again, that's my theory. I believe it will be another live stream announcement. We know next week is Omni Gruzio and I believe a dress up. And Tuesday is the announcement of basically the full reveals for the Judradjim and Raziel cards that we are getting in the Friday episode tomorrow. So pretty exciting for that. I'm really coping on the Raziel card, and I think Drad should be pretty good. I think Magnus is pretty underestimated, but you know, I'm like super biased. But anyways, thank you guys so much for watching. Frieren looks really fun. Let me know if you do want to pick up this deck. I think as a beginner deck, it is still really good, like most of the collab decks. And you know, it's basically built out of the box. Like, you don't need Keter generics. Will you probably want Keter generics for it to be optimal, like obligatory dragon maybe, and like Sergan and whatnot? Probably, but you don't really need it. And of course, another Teithfallt reprint is very much appreciated. We basically have like 2 reprints at this point if you count the core one as well. So that is really nice, making Teithfallt a little bit more cheaper, especially if we did get it in English as well. But yeah, that pretty much does it for me. Thank you guys so much for watching, and hopefully I'll see you in another video.